GearNetwork.com.
Hey, this is Cher Ross from Vixen, and you're listening to the All Bets Are Off podcast with Robby Vegas.
Rock soldiers, welcome back to the All Bets Are Off podcast with Robby Vegas. I would normally introduce all my guests one by one, but they've all been here before, so I'm going to let them go around the horn. We'll start with Chazz, and everybody can introduce themselves.
It's your boy Chazz, and I'm happy to be here for part 2 of this epic saga, and I'm going to throw it over to my right in my pictures to Troy.
How's everybody doing, Troy, from Wednesday 13? Nice to see you again, yay.
And I'm going to throw it over to Mike. That's waiting for that part.
Oh, shit, sorry, Mike.
Are they coming to me or is it coming to the other Mike?
We'll go to Mike first, because he's
Dupke
next
first.
line.
What's going on? Mike Dupke, also from Wednesday 13's pen. And now we're going to throw it over to...
What's up, everybody? Michael Thomas, here from Steven Adler's band, Adler's Appetite, Faster Pussycat, Beautiful Creatures, and a list of other bands.
I love that. I love that you just listed those out just because those are all bands that I love, and I just wanted these guys to be like, man, we should have said our other bands too.
I'm Chazz. I'm in a bunch of bands you've never heard of because I'm not cool, famous musicians like these guys.
So today we're all here for the same purpose. We're all huge Kiss fans. Mike and Troy are returning from the 70s Kiss draft, and Michael's here for the first time for the 80s Kiss draft. Not to say he won't be here again for the next one. We'll see how he enjoys us this time around. But so
he's got to put up with me this time, Robby, not just you.
Yeah, that's the difficult part. When it's just me, everything's pretty kosher. So, so the way we do this is, like some of you know, I have these Kiss cards here. And as I'm going back and forth, you're going to tell me what card you want. And whatever card you pick, that's who's going to, be going first, second, third, fourth, fifth. We run it. Last person goes twice, all the way back up. So that's how we're going to be running it just like last time. But this is new for Michael. So we're just going over the rules.
All right.
So I think last time, who went first last time, actually?
Mike.
Mike did.
Did I? Okay.
All right. Well, before we even pick, can we just point out the fact that the last time we did this, we had a fifth voice that was none of us that came on the show and told Mike to shut up while he was taking a pick. And we have no idea where it came from. It's still out there. It's on the YouTube. It's on Apple. It's on Spotify, wherever. And there's literally a disembodied voice while Mike is talking that says, shut up. And we have no idea where that came from.
Still pretty cool.
I guess goes to show it's like why I've never really had a supernatural experience. I guess because apparently I annoy them. So maybe that's why I keep the ghosts away.
I think we decided that it was Mark St. John.
Yes.
Hey.
Probably
So Mike,
a little bit more busy if it was Mark St. John.
Would have been, shut up. Wait, we can't have you talking like that. We can't have you talking like that. Talking.
So Mike, how about since you went first last time,
Gotcha.
Which card do you want?
And big bucks, no whammies, stop.
All right. This time you're going third.
Oh, hey.
Chazz, you keeping record of this?
Yeah, I'll keep track of the draft as long as my pen doesn't run out of ink.
Well, let's just go from Mike to Michael. We're gonna hover here. Which one are we taking?
Let's take that one.
This one here.
Yes, sir.
You are going fifth.
Whoa. All right.
It's not a bad place to be because you're always going to get 2 picks in a row.
As long as you like 80s Kiss music, unlike Troy.
Hey, I love it. But I'm just not as familiar as the 80s as I am with the 70s.
We got you. Got to throw
That's
some
fair.
shade. You know that.
All right. Well, that being said, Troy.
All right. That one.
Troy's going first.
You know what?
Damn.
man?
All right.
Troy's going first. And I lied. Mike didn't go first last time. I did.
Oh, okay.
Mike went second.
Well, Chazz, where are you going this time?
I am going to the one closest to your mouth.
You said that last time. Number 2.
That's why it worked good for me.
And I'm going fourth.
All right, so the lineup is Troy, Chazz, Mike, Robby, Michael. So like Robby explained, I'm the fantasy football expert here. It goes that order. Troy, Chazz, Mike, Robby, Michael. Then the second round goes opposite. Michael, Robby, Mike, Chazz, Troy. And it keeps going in that order back and forth. If you guys, like I said, a song gets picked, it's gone. And then I don't know if we explained this on air or not, but we're putting Hot in the Shade in the 90s. So from Unmasked up until I guess Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits.
Yes.
There's your window. And
But
if you need some
use
reinforcements, I've got all the records here to show you, just in case.
you cannot use the greatest hits on Smashes Thrashes. You can only use the new songs.
True, the new songs. Same thing with Killers. Oh, and we did make a rule because the 80s is really, really dominated by Paul. You have to have a Gene Simmons song. You have to. Okay, you have to have one Gene Simmons song at least. You have plenty, but me, there's a good chance that I end up with 5 to 15 Paul songs. So I have to force myself to take a Gene song. So no offense, Troy.
That's fine. That's fine.
Hey everybody, this is Lauren Marie Taylor, creator and host of the Not the Final Girl podcast. Okay, so every horror fan remembers the final girl, right? You know, the one who can outrun and outsmart the Jasons, the Michaels, the Chuckies. I think you get it. But what about the girls and, the guys who met with an untimely end? Those of us who were tortured and tripped, dragged and killed. Don't we deserve some props? As Vicky in Friday the 13th Part 2 and Sheila in Girls Night Out, I know what a drag it is to succumb to those masked and wardrobe-challenged killers, to not be the final girl. On my new podcast, I'll be chatting with other women of horror who share the same fate. Special guests include those final girls as well as the writers and directors who created our characters, only to give us an early expiration date. And if they play nice, we'll let some of those crazed killers of horror tell their side of the story. So join me, Lauren Marie Taylor, on the Not the Final Girl podcast. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you get the alerts when the episodes drop. Thanks for listening. Keep your doors locked and stay out of the woods.
All right. Well, I think Troy's going to kick us off right now, actually.
All right. I'm sorry, Mike. I don't mean to upset you, but
oh no!
I'll start with Torpedo Girl.
Oh no!
All right.
Sorry, Mike. I'm sorry.
My list is long. I can make adjustments.
Oh no! Now the reason this is controversial for if Michael didn't listen, and for everyone at home that didn't listen to the 70s episode, our friend Mike here thought that 1980 was included in the 70s draft. Tried to draft Torpedo Girl.
Recorded in 79. Come on.
You are correct. You are correct.
Squeeze it
County,
in.
right?
Okay.
79.
So, Troy snaked you.
The look on Mike's face right now tells me it's not okay, but he's really trying to play it off like it's
What are you
okay.
talking about? It's fine.
I'm sorry, my brother. I'm sorry, man. It's just a really, really good song, man. I mean,
It is a good song. A funky
tell us
ass
why.
bass line.
Tell us what you like about it.
The bass line, I just like the song. I like Ace sounds nice, man. It's a good all around song, you know. It still sounded a little oldie, but I like it, man. It's just good. It's a good Ace from that era.
And to be fair, it's barely a Kiss song. There's no Gene, there's no Peter.
Right.
I don't know if there's Paul on there or not. It's almost an Ace solo track, but it still counts.
You can definitely hear Paul on the part where he says, "Come on, get your feet wet." That's that line that Paul is definitely helping out there. The rest of the vocals, I'm not so sure on.
Right. I like the way it starts. It's an interesting little nonsense that Ace is doing and shit like that. So it's just a good all around song.
He's just got that look on his face like, fuck you, Mike.
Let's see. I'll wait till I see you on tour next.
No, that was on my pick, but I'm not surprised that it went beforehand because it's awesome.
Yeah, and you're very well versed on these albums, Mike. So I'm sure you're going to have no issues.
I got no issues.
Accurate.
I got picks at the yin yang.
All right. If I remember, we're jumping to Chazz.
Who played drums on Unmasked? That was Anton Fig, right?
Yeah.
Anton Fig, yeah.
Yep.
So
there's you can hear there at the very end of Torpedo Girl, there's double kick on there, and you can tell like Peter Criss never even went near a double kick.
Well, even the intro of that song, he's doing some weird Anton Figgy thing there at the beginning. It's definitely not a Peter Criss thing.
Hashtag
like
Anton Figgy.
Submarine.
Yeah. Mike took the words out of my mouth on that one.
Anton Figgy.
Yeah, just like that.
Anton Figgy. All right. Well, we're going to go into my track, and it's hard It's so hard for me to pick because I'm a big Paul Stanley mark, and Paul Stanley ruled the 80s. So of course I'm going with the Paul Stanley song, and there's millions and millions to pick from. But I am going to go with Creatures of the Night.
Never go wrong with that song.
Driving song. The sound is amazing. The drums are amazing. So Paul Stanley sounds amazing. This is the beginning of his dominance vocally from 1983 to 1996. So like Paul Stanley, Eric Carr, Creatures of the Night, welcome to the squad.
I knew that was going to go in the first round for somebody. There was no way that one was making it into the second round.
No.
But I'll tell you what, though, the live version of that is just as good. It's really powerful.
Hell yeah.
Let's go. When did Ace split out in the middle of that session?
I think they said, I believe on Paul's audiobook, he said he does not think that Ace recorded anything on Creatures, that he's on the cover because he technically was still in the band, but that he's actually not on the record. They have a variety of lead guitarists playing solos, but not.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But I mean, it's a really, really cool cover. Just saying.
Yeah. I swear, I don't know if I'm imagining this, but I swear there was a second pressing of Creatures with Vinnie Vincent in the same fucking picture as the one with Ace. Has anybody seen that, or am I?
No, you're thinking of as like a more of a Photoshop thing. There was a second pressing, but it was with Bruce. So there was 2 official pressings of the album with approximately 0 lead guitar players on the cover.
Yes, because the other pressing did have Bruce and there was no makeup. It was just, what it was. But yeah, there's a fan made one floating around where they replaced Ace with Vinny, and it looks really cool. There's also one floating around with Peter on it.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
And that brings us to Mike.
I am going, and you guys are going to laugh that this is my first pick because I am going way out in left field for this one, because this track is not even overlooked, but I think barely even mentioned by Kiss fans. And I just always loved it because it was Kiss, but also even in some of their weirdest moments, they produce, in my opinion, sheer greatness. It's off of The Elder, and the song is the instrumental Escape from the Island.
Oh, wow.
All right.
And it just goes to show, because that's obviously not the first instrumental that Kiss has put out with Love Theme from Kiss, but also they never shied away from just letting the band as players shine without any vocals. Like if you listen to, the live version of Let Me Go Rock and Roll, the whole second half is just riffs, and it's not even just guitar soloing. It's they're focusing on just the power of the riff. And Escape from the Island is just riff after riff. I remember I played it for my sister at one point, and she's like, "Is this Anthrax?" And got that, it's one of the heaviest songs because remember, they hadn't put out Creatures yet.
Yeah.
And so that comes on, it's like, what the hell is this? This is slamming. This makes you go, 110 down the freeway. And that's why that's got to be my number one pick. It's it barely gets mentioned, ever. I mean, The Elder barely gets mentioned at all, but they talk about, World Without Heroes or something like that. And always loved that song.
It's funny that you say it barely gets mentioned, because it never gets mentioned ever. but we are both picking tracks off The Elder back to back in the first round. Ooh, because my first round pick is actually A World Without Heroes.
Okay, nice.
I needed to snake a good Gene one, and
is it many?
And I will say that the acoustic version is a lot better, in my opinion, but I do love this song, and it's really different as far as Kiss is concerned, and I think that's why I kind of gravitate to it. Not as different as the rest of Elder that nobody talks about, but different enough to make it stand out. But I think it's one of his better songs, period, not just from the 80s. And you're right, the acoustic version is great, but the original version is almost just as fantastic. And big shout out to one of the only few lead guitar solos done by Mr. Paul Stanley. Yeah, good point. So that being said, it's Michael for 2. He gets 2 picks back to back.
Yeah, let's give us your first one first, Michael. We'll focus on the first rounder. What is your first rounder?
Okay, so for me, this is the most, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? It's the biggest anthem that I think of, like Kiss in the 80s. Whenever you hear the song, you just automatically just start just bobbing your head to it, you know? So I'm starting with Creatures and I Love It Loud.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
nice.
it's just such an anthem, dude. Like it's crazy. It doesn't matter where you are. The minute that comes on and that verse kicks, and oh, by the way, that counts as my Gene song, right?
That's true.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I just love it. Absolutely love it. One of my favorites. And I think that just kind of like it sums up some of the attitude, the 80s attitude that Kiss threw out, you know, back then.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fucking timeless.
I
And it's
agree.
funny the way you were prefacing it about saying anthem and everything. I already started to write down "I Love It Loud." I knew it. Like as soon as I said it, like that's what it is. And crazy for the first round. One Paul song after I said Paul dominated the 80s. One Paul song in the first round, and all of the songs are from the first 3 albums. So interesting.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, 2 songs from Creatures, 2 songs from The Elder, and 1 from Unmasked.
Yeah. So just to set it off before Michael kicks in with round 2, we got Torpedo Girl, Creatures of the Night, Escape from the Island, A World Without Heroes, and I Love It Loud. Nobody would ever seen a lot of those. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I did not have that on my Kiss bingo card.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, right. Well, Michael, you're kicking off round 2, man.
All right, cool. So I guess I did get lucky with position number 5 because I thought this would be snatched up super quick. And for me, like my next pick, dude, it just reminds me of being that whatever 8-year-old kid. And I think this track was like on you remember those like K-Tel like compilation albums they used to come out with?
Yeah.
Right.
So anyways, Lick It Up. There's to me, like there's just something so simple but so cool about that guitar riff, you know? And obviously they followed the riff with the same vocal cadence, so that helped really get it to stick in your brain, you know? But man, there's just something so simple and so cool about that. Like
I agree.
It reminds me of my youth and reminds me of that compilation record.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like obviously that's foreign to some people, but, and on just a total side note, on that same K-Tel compilation album, there was a Van Halen song and I was like, oh, amazing. Cool. There's a Van Halen track. And it was like something I'd never heard before. And have you guys ever heard their version they did of Dancing in the Streets?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's super keyboard heavy, right? And I'm like, holy shit, where's the guitar? Where's it on this track? I was so bummed, dude. I was so bummed out. I listen to it now. I'm like, oh, it's fun, you know. Like, but as a kid, I was waiting for the big epic guitar shit to come in and just scorch my face off.
Right.
And totally different vibe. So, anyways, Lick It Up is my second pick.
I gotta add to that too by also pointing out that Lick It Up on Alive 3 was fucking killer. I know that we can't pick that right now, but oh my God, just to me, that's the version of Lick It Up I think of.
Yeah, the Live 3 is great. And I don't know what Michael's talking about foreign records and everything like that. There's my Lick It Up vinyl right in my hand. So
Yeah, don't you have like 3 versions of that?
that one I had, yes, 3, the original, and then I accidentally bought 2 of the new pressings. So well, for what is it? I think the original album, Kiss, I have the original Kiss. There was like a 35th repressing. There was like a 40th repressing, and they're probably going to do a 50th repressing this year. So
yeah, probably. So I guess it's back to me now for my second round pick. And, you know, I got to go with one that's about fighting since I'm a wrestler. But it's not about fighting. It's about fighting hell to hold you. I love that tune. And that is officially my second pick. So number 2, I'll fight hell to hold you.
Prove it. Sing it. Sing the chorus right now.
No. I can't. That song just fucking kicks ass, man. Like, I don't even feel like I need to say anything else about it other than go listen to it.
Dude, for Paul Stanley to be, what is that? That's Crazy Nights, right?
Yep.
Right. So that's 87. So Paul's like what? Pushing like 37. Probably like my age. I'm 37. So my age now. Dude, he must have had his balls in such a vice to hit those notes in that fucking song, because it is out of control high in that whole album, but especially that song. Like, I couldn't ever, and I sing pretty high. If they were like, yo, you're gonna join Kiss, we're gonna do these higher range songs, here's one of them, and be like, you know what? You can find somebody else.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't really think we have much else to say about that one because we all just kind of nodded in agreement that it was badass. So we'll just go right to Mike.
All right. And speaking of, I'm gonna kind of take a parallel angle along with my Gene song, first Gene song pick anyway. Because, yeah, I think the 80s are, for both Gene and Paul, that's when they hit their peak vocally. I think Gene has a couple of non-makeup songs that just surpass vocally. I'm not saying the songs were better, but just vocally, he's just going above and beyond anything he did in the 70s. And certainly on this track, off of Lick It Up, I'm going to go with Fits Like a Glove for my second track, because he is just screaming his ass off, and it's killer. Because like when he really digs in like that, I'm a big fan of like when vocalists, you know, like sound like they're almost going to break, but they never quite do it, like where they just hit in the top of the register. And when he does that, you know, hot knife through butter part, you know, it's like, oh yeah. And it's just like, oh, it's everything you love about that, and the song just drives. It killed on Animalized Live, like it translates live beautifully, and that's going to be my favorite, just because that it's such a awesome straight ahead rocker with an amazing vocal performance by Gene.
The way you explained the vocals you like, and then that song, makes me want to hear Wednesday sing it.
He probably could.
He could kill it.
Yeah,
I bet he knows. He probably knows all the words already.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
So.
Yeah. Talking Kiss with Wednesday. Yeah, he definitely knows the words to everything now.
And it's funny that when Mike, you know, describes the song, he goes to the part of the song. When I roll through her, it's so corny and it's epic, and I absolutely love that.
Well, Gene had an interesting voice always, and I think that aside from Kiss fans, he never really got credit for it. You know what I mean? Like he can sing, and it is very good. You know.
Well, he's also an underrated bass player.
Yes, he is.
You know, some of his shit, a lot of people just think he's a very simplistic. Try to play some of the shit. It's not as fucking easy as you think.
Yeah,
and it's got soul. You know,
mm-hmm.
He is definitely backboard.
I don't think he got the credit vocally in the 80s, too, because in all honesty, like his songs were not there. His songs were not but he had good tunes, but like, obviously we all know it's like it was Paul, you know, who was kind of carrying the band at that point. But the ones that were there and that he was able to deliver on it, that were just kick ass, man.
Well, speaking
100%.
of Gene, I'm going to go get my Gene out of the way. And we're going off of the album Scene here. We are looking at Unmasked, and I know that seems weird because there's still plenty of Gene songs like on Creatures and whatnot, but one of my favorite Kiss songs and one of my top maybe 2 or 3 favorite Gene songs of all time is Naked City. And I'm going with Naked City. I love the chord progressions. I love the bass line. I think his voice sounds amazing in there. He's hitting super high falsetto notes at the end of it. So like Naked City, top tier Gene song for me. And I'm happy to welcome it to Team Chazz.
I knew that one was going to go. That one had to go. So
on my list too. That song sound very, I don't know, movie soundtrack-ish. To me, just how wide it was, and just the vibe and the feeling of it was a really cool song. Definitely, it was definitely on my list.
Yeah, it really focuses on Gene. Like, his voice, he's singing it, but like, when I think of that song, I don't even think of the guitar riff. I'm a guitar player. The guitar riff is me, like that's all it's doing. Right. Where Gene Simmons like boom, 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 boom. Like he's just all over the place. Like,
what's the guitar riff again?
It sounds like an alarm almost.
I actually thought we were tapping into an Affleck commercial there for a minute.
They're all a bunch of assholes, and I love y'all.
No, it's awesome.
All right, so we're going to kick it over to Troy for 2.
2 for all right, and I think I'm going to go with just a killer Paul song off of Creatures. I Still Love You.
Oh, you bitch!
Ooh.
Yeah, I knew that was on your list, bro. So that's just an all around fucking killer song.
Lying. That's number 1. I should have went with it.
I expected it to go number 1.
Oh.
Yeah, there's something about that song that just flows so good. And his vocal performance on it's fucking killer.
God, yeah.
It just hits you in all the fucking feels.
Yeah. It hits in the feels, and even I think it's Vinny on that song. It's just it's a smooth, emotional guitar solo. It's not Vinny going off and doing Vinny stuff that he did in The Invasion. He's actually like playing with some soul.
Right. What do you mean, like soloing over the top of the lead vocal in the middle of the verse?
Like it's got a lot of soul and heart to it. And I read this thing, and I still don't believe it, where Paul Stanley says he didn't write it about anybody in particular. It was just a song that came together. Bullshit.
No way.
You don't write a song like that without something in mind, man.
Yeah. Because he was like, I'm not going to tell everybody that bitch's name.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he was thinking.
Yeah. And the rebirth of it in the 90s with Unplugged and on Alive 3, and just like, I Still Love You. Damn it, I should have took it instead of Naked City. Damn you, Troy.
Any version of I Still Love You is great. Like anything, anytime you've ever heard it, it's always fantastic. You could tell he still puts his heart and soul into it long after the original recording.
And I even love like the riffs and then like the clean picking part. Like Robbie can attest to this. I got a new amp about a month ago, and I sent him a recording of me playing "I Still Love You" just because I love how clean the clean sounds and how dirty the distortion sounds. Great.
And I texted him back.
Trivia Nuts, who played bass on that track?
Troy.
It was
Troy.
That fucking old. God damn it.
No, so do you guys know this?
No.
Eric Carr. Eric Carr played bass.
Really?
On I Still Love You. True story.
Badass.
That
I
did
guess
not know.
Gene was not present in the studio that day or something. I'm sure Paul probably could have done it himself. But Eric Carr plays bass on that song.
Sweet.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
My man.
I will say when Chaz sent me those recordings, I said, "Why are you fucking bothering me?"
That's true.
All right, I think we're still on Troy, right?
Yeah, so we got first 2 rounds done. Troy, you started off with some Torpedo Girl, and then you were an asshole and took I Still Love You.
All right, I'm gonna knock my Gene out, and it's just one of my favorite songs. Same album, Creatures, War Machine.
Oh, bitch.
Yeah. That's a driving song. It's always been, you know how heavy I am into Gene shit, and that's just epitome of Gene, sort of. Rah. You know?
Yeah, you snaked my next pick for sure.
Well, we have a lot of the same taste, brother. You know.
Yeah, right.
Written by who? Troy, who wrote that song?
About that. I don't know, Mike.
I know. Does anyone else know?
I do.
Believe it was
someone who got their first real 6-string, bought it at the 5 and Dime.
A Canadian guy.
Yeah, really. All right, I did not know this.
Yes, written by Gene Simmons and Bryan Adams.
Sure is.
What the fuck?
Right?
I saw the credit on. I thought that was such a weird combination. Like I didn't know that they'd actually collaborated together.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. I mean, Bryan Adams is a hit writer. You know, like especially in the late 70s, early 80s. That's all he had was hits.
Yeah. I would love to see him bust that out at one of his own shows.
Yeah.
Just here's a song I wrote back in the 80s with a guy named Gene Simmons, and the whole crowd's going, "What?"
Well, I'm familiar obviously with Bryan Adams, but I'm not so familiar with his like career. So that album came out in what, 83?
82.
So 82. Like what, Bryan Adams was a thing already at this point?
No, not really. He was, I think he had like a minor hit or something like that, but he hadn't really broken through with like Summer of '69 and I think that was the Reckless album. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, all those hits like Summer '69 and Run to You had not come out yet, so he was still probably making a bit of bank with writing with other people at that point.
Oh,
well,
wow.
We need to do our research for our Bryan Adams song draft episode coming up.
I'm actually not going to participate in that, but I'll set up the Zoom and let you guys do it.
I'll be out after like round 2 probably because I'm not that. I actually did used to cover his stuff though, but there we go. War Machine, I like it. So now we're back to me, right?
Yep, back to you.
All right, guys, we're going off of this bad boy here.
All right.
Oh, I'm scared.
One of mine and Robbie's favorites. It might be
That's why I'm scared.
Our favorite, and I'm going with the track that just gets it all going. Starts off with some fantastic drums in the beginning, starts off with some fantastic guitar playing, and starts off with the premier vocalist of the late 1980s, Paul Stanley. And I'm going with King of the Mountain.
I hate you. I hate you so much because you and Troy back to back took my next 2 picks.
Just from the moment, like you drop the needle and it's just like, hi, I'm Eric Carr. Here I go. Like,
wait, can you do that again?
No, you get one motorboat and that's it. So then you love the drums, and then you get an old come on. I love it. Love that.
You're the sound effect guy.
I am. I don't even need my soundboard that I have on my podcast.
Well,
I got my mouth. Hey, girl.
The guitars and the drums on that album, it's just like, especially that song, it's like, wow, these are some motherfuckers that can play, you know? And it kind of busted Kiss into this a different little realm of real tight and not crazy intricate, but a hell of a lot more intricate than a lot of the shit, you know?
Yeah, like even if you compare to, and it's not a shade at like what Michael picked, but like Lick It Up just a few years earlier, much more simple of a song structure compared to what they're busting out on this album. So
and that was Kulick, I'm guessing. Fucking, hey guys, let's actually put some thought into the intro and the segues, and then an actual outro maybe, and let's do it. It was just the writing on that album was really fucking cool.
Yeah,
of course, they still have their simplistic stuff, but they delved a little bit deeper, I think, than what they've been doing previously.
I agree. I totally agree. And I think Bruce Kulick may be my favorite Kiss guitarist, and probably, I mean, he's super underrated. He really is.
Really good.
Oh my God. Even when he's in Grand Funk now and all that stuff, like he's still absolutely incredible. It's just, you don't hear enough about the guy. Like Kiss fans fawn over him and all that stuff, but he needs to be in the discussion for some of the greatest guitarists, I think.
And in the discussion as one of the greatest guests of the All Bets Are Off podcast with Robbie Vegas.
That's true. That's true. He's been here. Of course. He's been here twice, and I said, the only people who were better than you were Troy, Mike, and Michael and Chaz. I'm sorry, Bruce. I'm sorry.
Give you the $5 later.
Yeah, that I paid you guys to be here today, right?
That's right. Yeah.
He's been doing Grand Funk for a while now, right?
Long time.
20-something years.
We just did a gig on Friday in Oklahoma at this casino outside of Oklahoma City, and they're coming there, and I saw this poster with obviously Bruce and the rest of the guys, and I was thinking to myself, God, I knew he was doing that. It just seems like an odd pairing, right?
Yeah.
I can't really connect the dots there. I mean, it's cool. He's been doing it for years and years, right?
Yeah.
But I have a hard time connecting the dots. Like,
I agree.
Yeah.
It just seems like a very different kind of feel from what I'd expect him to do.
Well, that's just because we're Kiss fans. I mean, before Kiss, you guys coming off of Blackjack with Michael Bolton, and he was playing with Meatloaf a little bit with his brother too. So like, he's well rounded. We think of him as like the metal guy, but like Bruce is really not a metal guy. He just kind of filled that era in Kiss because he was so talented.
Yeah,
right.
Is what it was.
That's true. I mean, listening to him on a Live 3, I would definitely call him the metal guy.
Right. But I mean, even just meeting him, and I met him before and talked to him, he's a classic rock guy. That's who he is. He's not a metal guy, He just filled it very well.
Michael, though, I agree. Who did back up for a little bit? Was like Rihanna?
Rihanna.
Yeah. And I thought, like, I mean, obviously Nuno could back up anybody and kill it, but at the same time, I thought like, damn, and Rihanna being awesome, but it's like, man, she probably wouldn't want to share the spotlight with a dude who can like tear that much ass on a guitar.
Yeah,
you know,
that's fair. Rihanna does a lot of ass tearing herself, and
well, to be fair though, I mean, even when who was Nita Strauss just recently jamming with before she jumped back into Alice Cooper?
Oh, was that Nelly Furtado or something?
Yeah, who was it?
Demi Lovato.
Demi Lovato.
Okay, yeah. Damn.
That freaked me out. When I heard that, I was like, no.
you guys say
I think
that
she made the right choice going back to Cooper.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like she fits that bill. She's fit it for a while. I understand like venturing out because that was an opportunity maybe to, be in front of a different crowd, build more of a base, and maybe get some writing credit somewhere. Yeah. But that was a weird move, right? Like when that came out, I was like, oh, that's different.
Yeah, it kind of and it didn't last long. Like all of a sudden the announcement was that she was back with Alice, and I was like, there it is. The world is right.
Well, as opposed to Nuno was, I think, is still with Rihanna. I think he was on the Super Bowl. He's been with her forever. Like, and you know what? He's making his paycheck, and he's back with Extreme now, so he's living the life.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, who do we leave off at? Because we just went off on a tangent, and I don't know.
We're going to Mike.
Well, I got to be honest. I was a little terrified, Chaz, when you started introing your last pick because I thought you were going to steal mine. Because mine is also from Asylum. Starts off with killer drums, and I chose it because I think it shows more so than any other track how freaking awesome Eric Carr was, and that was the first song on side 2, the song "I'm Alive."
Great
choice. Out. I mean, like the drums are going absolutely batshit on that whole song, and it's even like it's to get into to bore you guys with drum speak for a second. Like it's deceptive because if you're counting the song like 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, the first snare is on 2. But then the other toms are like on the end of 3 and the end of 4. So it's got like this weird syncopated feel that you really have to lock into. And then, there's all these offbeat hits and all these accents and fills all over the place. Not to mention that, most of Asylum is kind of like that in that Eric Carr is really coming to his own as a rock drummer. And so, yes, I'm going to go with the song that was originally titled Run for Your Life. And I'm going to go with I'm Alive.
Dude, I love it.
Awesome song,
man.
That song was like Paul Stanley was sitting there, and he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna write a Judas Priest song and make it better." That's what I felt like he said.
They had a thing, right? That tempo. It's kind of like Escape from the Island. It's not thrash, but it's like that faster driving, kind of hell bent for leather type of feel to it. And I thought like they did that just as well. They held their own without losing anything.
Love it.
Agreed. And I feel like we could talk about Kiss all night, and that's why my next pick is all night.
The three Asylum
tracks in a row. Yeah, nice.
Yep. Oh man, like this song is just fun. I mean, there's really not much you could say about it other than it's fun. You hear this song, you just bob your head, and it's just like it makes you feel good. You're like, of course we know what it's about because what are 98% of Kiss's songs about? So they stuck with the formula that works for them, and it was all night. And I specifically just love how there's this that little breakdown where they're just going Woo! They're sitting in and they're in the studio looking at each other, go, you know what this song needs? Just a bunch of and they all just looked at each other and went, yeah, fuck yeah, let's fucking do that. Yeah. So just out of having fun with their music and me having fun listening to their music, that had to go on my list. It just had to. And it has nothing to do with you guys snaking my next few picks like the bunch of assholes that you are. This is why I can't have Bruce on the show with you guys, because we're all a bunch of assholes and he's not.
Robbie, I can't remember if I told you when we were on tour if we were talking about Kiss, because of course we did. But yes. I remember like at one point I was a teenager and I had Asylum, and I was finding a couple of songs on those records really inspirational, particular the Gene song Trial by Fire, right? It's all about, living your life and and persevering and all this stuff. And my folks weren't really cool with a whole lot of metal at that point. So I'm just like, no, it's inspirational. Read the lyrics to Trial by Fire. It's like, it's awesome. And so she reads the lyrics and she goes, okay. Well, she goes, I'd like to read the lyrics for the rest of the record. I'm like, no, you don't have to do that. No, let me just get that from you. But she like grabbed it and like, she's going to read all night. Oh God. Oh, I'm in trouble.
Yep.
That's funny because you mentioned Betrayal by Fire. You mentioned Trial by Fire. Back in my emo days, when I was in my like emo bands, I was kind of inspired by that song. And there was like this, phase in the emo days of like having like weird song titles or things that just went together, parentheticals and things like that. So like I wrote a song about betrayal, and it was kind of like also like it was a trial by fire. So I called it like B Trial by Fire. It was so lame, but it was totally a nod to Kiss. It was parenthetical B Trial by Fire. Stupid, I know. But
and everybody that saw it was like, I don't get it.
No, it was the emo days. They're like, cool, yeah. I'm gonna get some eyeliner. I'll be right back.
I still wear eyeliner.
You guys all probably do. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Hey, wait. Yeah, what the hell, bro?
So the emo kids. It's all good.
All right. So I guess that brings us to Michael for 2 picks.
Oh, I get 2 again?
Yep.
All right, cool. So my next pick, I'm going to go with Analyze and Heaven's on Fire.
Nice.
Nice.
And I feel like you guys have some really cool, like, deep cuts. I feel like mine are a little more like low-hanging fruit, right? But it hits me as like when I hear these songs as a kid, man, when I heard those lyrics, Burn With Me, Heaven's on Fire, I was thinking, what is he talking about? Like I thought that was just like so crazy. Yeah, whatever. 10, 11-year-old kid, like, putting the needle on the album and listening to it. And I was just mesmerized. It just sounded so, it wasn't like dark, but it was just like, wow, like the imagery of just the lyrics, and just, it's not complicated. It's not rocket science. It's just cool. And that verse in the pocket, it's just so staccato and like, I don't know. There's just something rhythmically that I just love about that feel. And it's probably just, of course, nostalgic for me because these are all the things that got me to play guitar as a kid. So when I hear that, I go, it's not like a weird deep cut track, but it's like, just one of those songs that just takes me right back, Oh,
Ed, that's a great pick. You can't go wrong with that. And as soon as you said it, the first thing that I heard in my head was, here's a song. Y'all don't know this one by the beginning. Songs by the beginning where you go, oh, yeah.
I know that one. Actually, it's funny you said, because I thought that was probably the big standout for me on Alive 3. Was Heaven's on Fire, like when they break it down and instead of like the actual chorus, they get the bridge, right? They go, whoa, and they get the crowd to sing that. I'm a sucker anytime anybody does that, with an audience, and it's so good.
And everyone it
was on my list.
Everyone's failed to mention the incredible vocal intro on the piece.
Oh,
yeah.
That's so quintessentially Paul, though, right?
Yes.
Totally.
Like you hear that and you're just like, that's just so him.
Like
nobody else can pull that off and keep a straight face.
Well, rumor has it that's just him in the studio warming up his vocals, and they're just like, "Fuck it, put it on."
Yeah,
right.
Like that Eddie Murphy line where he goes, "I need a lyric here." Hey, that's good. It's like we need an intro. Whoa! Oh yeah, keep it done.
Yep. That was on my list. That's a great tune. Like it doesn't even. I don't care deep cut or not. Like that is just such a great song. Yeah. And now you're kicking off the next round, Michael. You're up again.
So I was kind of like split between 2 for my next pick, but I think I'm going to go back to Lick It Up and choose All Hell's Breaking Loose.
Oh no!
Oh, you got me. Damn
it!
Because I'm telling you, man, there's something about there's the bass line there. It's just pulsing. You know what I mean? And there's just I don't know. It's just love it.
Just makes your head move.
It just it's simplistic genius, and it just works. And that's my vote. It just works.
Street talker comes up to me late at night when I'm walking down the street, minding my own business.
He looks me up and he looks me down. He said, "Hey, man." The Kiss rap song. But
it is, but like, Paul Stanley's just like delivery and his like, I don't know, exuberance, just himself. He put such a charm on it that none of us could replicate, no matter how hard we tried.
Yeah.
I figured like someone would probably take Torpedo Girl, but Michael, that was flat out Grand Theft. That was going to be my next one. Because and forget about the horrible video for a second, but just that riff, is just. It's got such a swing and a swagger to it. Like it's so just the riff on its own is
pretty sure that's an Eric Carr riff.
I believe that's correct. He is credited with writing that song. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I wrote a thing one time. I said like, I wonder what like just because we can all do it. He looks me up and he looks me down, and we could. I said like, I wonder what that would sound like during the Renaissance or the Renaissance. Or like if with a like Shakespearean delivery, he might say, "A vagabond from the more destitute portion of the municipality converged upon me while I happened to be promenading on the thoroughfare, sequestered to my own personal affairs. The transient inspected my attire in an ascending motion, then contemplated my regalia in a descending gesticulation. He inquired, 'Can you divulge the justification behind this particular fragment of your personalized garments? And please advise me as to the rationale with which you favored this particular aspect of your vestments. As you might surmise, I merely scrutinized this simpleton and cachinnated unobtrusively. I reciprocated, modern society perceives my style to be dandy, and I remain a pacifying zephyr in deepest summer.'"
I'm telling you this right now. First of all, that was impressive. I don't know if it's written down in front of you.
Oh, it is.
I hope.
Everyone's giving them the round.
But that when I promote this episode, I'm just taking that. just that. And nobody's going to hear anything but that. And they're going to go, I don't know what they're doing, but I'm going to fucking listen to that.
Yeah, I'm going to make a YouTube shorts out of that for you.
Actually,
overachiever, Mike.
I put that up on my Facebook. I think like a year and a half or 2 years ago, like just to see if anyone, without explanation, just to see if anyone knew what that was. And like I think 2 people knew that I was referencing "All Hell's Breaking Loose." And I was,
damn it!
Well done.
Mike must have not have read the contract where I'm supposed to be the funny one of the show.
Yes.
I need you to reel it in a little bit, bud.
Let me kick him out real quick. Hang on. So I guess that brings it back to me. And there he goes. Mike's gone. I picked a song so mind you, my next few picks are already gone. But this next one might throw you guys off. It's very, very 80s sounding song. I love it. It's off of Crazy Nights.
I know where you're going.
Do you?
I think so. Yeah.
Turn on the Night.
Yep.
Yeah. This song is so fun. You want to talk about 80s? This is a fucking 80s song. When you listen to this, you're like, oh yeah, these guys were definitely just on that 80s anthem train that's what they wanted this song to be, was an 80s anthem. Turn on the Night was exactly what that was supposed to be. And to me it is. But I'm sure to other people it's not. But I absolutely love this track. And I'm curious to hear what all of you think about it, actually.
Fire below!
When you said it's 80s, I thought you were going to go with My Way because like it's just so like massive keyboard heavy. But no, yeah. I agree. They did a video for it. It's like I thought that should have been way bigger because just those huge melodic gang vocals, like that song was absolutely killer.
Well, this is keyboard heavy too, man. I can't even think of the guitar. All I hear is the piano, and I can think of like Bruce does rip something at the end of it, but like I just think of the piano the keyboard the whole time, and not in like a bar way. It's perfectly 80s, like Robbie said.
What kind of way?
Shh.
Well, Michael, what do you think? Turn on the Night.
What do I think?
Yeah,
I think it's a good pick. And I didn't know that Diane Warren was credited for that song with Paul Stanley, apparently.
Jeez.
I mean, Diane Warren, I wouldn't think that would be a combination with, but I guess.
Right. I mean, it's kind of what we were saying earlier about War Machine. Like there's just these weird combos.
Yeah, really, really weird. Like, cool, right? Like, who would have thought? Brian Adams.
Because the harder rock, the metal bands were trying to breach the pop world. So they're calling on Bryan Adams, Diane Warren. They're calling on
like Desmond Child. I get
Desmond Child,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Desmond Child makes perfect sense. Yeah, that just kind of threw me. Those two, Bryan Adams, and then with your pick, Diane Warren. Like, oh, okay, didn't know that. But
And
cool.
they're both fantastic songs. So it worked. You know.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to Mike for your second to last pick until we convince Robbie to go another round.
Is it second to last or is this last?
Second to last for now.
Yeah, for now
Okay.
we'll see. Because I mean, I'm going to see how you guys all feel after this. So.
Okay. I'm Michael stole my next pick, so I'm going to go with the next one down the list after that. I'm going to go back to Creatures for a second, and we were just talking about it. It's the other one. I don't know what it is. I just really loved this song. I think it's really haunting and ridiculously heavy, but also moody in a way that they hadn't really made standard just yet. It's the other one off of Creatures that Gene co-wrote with Bryan Adams, and it's the song Rock and Roll Hell. Now, go back and listen to that, knowing it's a Bryan Adams song, and you will hear it exactly like a Bryan Adams song.
Wow.
Just, the phrasing of the verses, been under fire 16 years. And the bass line is just kind of like thumps along with, the low toms. It's great. And always loved it. It's phrased like it's a pop hit structure, right? Because it's got that tiny little bridge before it goes into a catchy chorus. And I just always loved that song. Another one that I thought never got the attention it deserved. Especially
I knew that's
the Bryan Adams part.
I knew that's where you were going as soon as you started, and I love that song. It was on my list also, but oh my God, what a great tune.
And he's definitely screaming his face off in parts of that song too. So,
yeah, man.
Was that the song that I'm pretty sure Ace Frehley also covered that, right?
Yes, he did. I think it's on one of his
Origins Volume 1.
Origins. Yeah.
Right.
So everyone was like, "What? Why is he covering a Kiss song that he's not a part of?" Technically,
I mean, didn't he do that? He also did that with Hide Your Heart. So
right.
It's true.
Right.
It's very true. And
we'll talk about that next podcast.
I just want to point out that Ace just got mad at you because you had a Kiss record standing up behind you that just fell over when you were talking shit.
Nobody needs to know that happened.
Oh.
They went down.
The ghosts are back.
Shut up.
All right. Well, we're gonna go to my pick now, and I'm gonna convince Robbie to go another round because there's still a million songs that I want here. But I'm gonna be the first one and possibly the only one to go off of this bad boy here.
Ooh, I know what you're picking.
We are going off Killers. We are going off the track that kicks off side 2. We're going off with, I think, one of, if not the most underrated Kiss Paul Stanley song, and that's Nowhere to Run.
Every time you pick a Paul song, you sing it every time.
Yeah, because that's my boy. I love the song. I still don't know how it's not a hit. I don't know how they've never dove into it again, brought it back for anything. I know it was kind of on this like greatest hit / new song album that was literally just like, shit, we need to put something out. Here's 4 songs I wrote. Because they're all Paul songs. They're all Paul songs. No Gene input whatsoever. And Nowhere to Run is just fucking amazing and fantastic. And it's probably a top 10 Kiss song for me, honestly. So,
all right. Well, before we move to Troy, since Chaz keeps bringing it up repeatedly, how much time do you guys have if we were to go some extra rounds? Everybody good?
Do an extra round? Yeah.
Extra round will cost us another like 10 minutes, right?
What do you think, Michael?
Well, I was going to say, I got one more I can throw out for you. And then depending on where we're at with time,
Okay. Well, let's get back to Michael and then we'll make the decision.
All right. So Mike's got a little wait here. So.
All right. Troy, hit us. Right. I believe you have 2.
I do. Yes. All right, let's go with 222 off of. I'll go from Music from the Elder and Mr. Blackwell.
Wow.
Nice.
All right.
I liked it. It that song reminds me of something that like would be a track on Gene's solo album or some shit like that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It had that feel to it. It was like funky old Kiss sounding shit. I don't know. I just got off to that song. I just listened to that yesterday, and I was like, "This is a fucking cool song, man."
You know,
it's weird.
It's funny. It's funny that you should say it sounds like it could go on Gene's solo album, because his solo album would have benefited from a song like this, because his solo album was so bad.
Yes.
Oh, come on.
This is also.
If this song was on, you're right. If this song was on Gene's solo album, it's the best song easily.
Right.
Yeah.
It just had a really cool fucking vibe that just reminds me of old Gene. You know what I mean?
The sound of his bass, and it sounds like his like bass solo.
Right.
This may be one of the only podcasts out there that gives this much love to the elder.
Yeah, true.
That's right. Yeah. I love that one too. It always reminded me of like something like off of Welcome to My Nightmare. Like that funky poppy, almost like, borderline show tune, with catchiness to it. But with that, Gene still playing, just a different version of the whole evil character thing. And
right.
Who was Mr. Blackwell in the story? We don't know. But, whoever he was, kind of a unlikable bastard. So I like that pick too.
Yeah, that was a good. That one just really, when I was listening back through the albums, that one just kind of stuck out to me pretty good. It's just a solid song. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you're up again
for possibly your last song, but probably not.
Okay. Let's do. I'll do a Paul song. Who Wants to Be Lonely?
Nice.
Oh, you fucking dick!
Yeah, exactly. Who wants to be lonely?
See, I'm not the only one.
That was a very poppy sort of fucking hit song, and that just reminds me of growing up and shit like that too. Very nostalgic for me. But
what I love about that song is Paul had this thing about his guitar playing, his writing in the 80s, where like his riffage, his riffs or his chords were very singy by themselves.
Right.
Just the way he would change and slide from like D to E, like and stuff like that. And like, so that song, like he just mimics it, like with the whoa parts, whoa, like he's just following what he's playing on guitar, and it really like brings it out. And I love it. I absolutely love that.
Right. Yep. It's a nice breakdown in the song too, and Paul gets to fucking use his goddamn voice like a son of a bitch. Oh yeah. Fucking voice soloing.
He gives a nice in that one too.
He covers all the bases.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, right. In case you couldn't tell by my reaction, good pick.
Sorry, buddy. I'm knocking your list of shit, aren't I?
Yeah. Yep. All right, we're coming back to you, Chester.
Well, I changed my pick last minute because I want to get this one before I get the next one, because I'm going to convince Robby to do another round or 7. So even if Michael's got to leave, that's okay. We'll just go me and Robby till like 2 a.m.
No, I'm going to hang up.
We're going on this one here. We're going with Animalize. True story. Up until about 5 years ago, I always thought there was a D at the end. I thought it was Animalized, but it's Animalize. And one of the worst Kiss album covers of all time, I would have to say. But
that's just Paul pants.
Yeah, the back is all right. But we're gonna go with the song that kicks off the album as well. That is actually 3 kickoffs. Actually, 4 of my 5 are the first tracks on the album, because it's always a Paul song and he always brings it. And we're going with "I've Had Enough." All right. I can't sing it. Nothing and no one is stopping me now.
Excellent.
I love it. I just great riff too. It's like another thing. Like, yeah, I'm gonna write a speed metal song, guys. Let's go. Mark St. John, do something.
Mark St. John, do this.
Yeah, fine. That's good, bro. All right, we're good. So I've had enough Into the Fire. 4 out of 5 track 1. So that's weird, but I love it.
All right, cool. I mean, killer pick
on that album, man.
Yeah, dude. It's underrated. It's not the best. They're in a weird spot, but like there is moments that I love on that album.
Right, absolutely. That was my first I hate to say it, but that was my first Kiss live concert.
It's great, man.
Oh wow.
Nice.
You got
I never got to see it with makeup originally. I fucking shattered for my life. But
see, I never got to see them without makeup ever. So
right. Oh, fair enough.
Got that.
Same.
I didn't see him till 96. So
same.
Damn.
Well, we're on mic now.
All right.
What you got, Mikey?
Well, again, perfect segue because talking about seeing that tour live in concert is kind of the reason I'm picking the next one that I do. Grammar, drummer talk. And the reason because like the record version is so awesome, but when they did it live on Animalized Live Uncensored, they handed the vocals over to one Eric Carr, and that's Young and Wasted off of nice. Lick It Up. And I guess I got to put out and say, the live version because, those rat bastards made him sing that right after his drum solo. Dude's out of breath and like, okay, now you're going to sing and play this like, ridiculously driving song because it's kind of in that vibe of like into the, I've had enough into the fire, right? Like it's that driving and live, translates another, killer riff. And on the record, another vicious performance by Gene, that makes it my next pick.
Hell yeah.
All right. Good choice. Solid pick. Always with the live versions with you. Always with the live versions.
Yep.
But the studio version stands well on its own.
It does,
yeah.
Agreed.
Well, that brings me next. Okay, so I was debating between a couple here because I don't know how many, if we're going to do one more or two more. So I'm just going to go with my original idea and go with Murder in High Heels.
She's murder.
Yeah, I just dig that tune, man. There's just something about it that gets my blood pumping, and I'm all for that. So I use that a lot when I'm like posting clips and stuff of my wrestling. Murder in High Heels just seems to just fit that mold.
For when you're wearing high heels in the ring.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, I just wear fancy leggings, don't I?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, to be fair, we all do.
Yeah, oversimplification, buddy. Yeah.
To be fair, we all wear fancy leggings sometimes.
And
at some point, yeah.
But yes, Murder in High Heels, not my heels, but high heels.
You've never done
that. For my fifth pick.
All right, so technically we're moving on to Michael for one, but he could kick off the second round, and if he's got to go, then he's good. So
yeah, you could pick two.
I got one more for you.
Okay.
Before I have to split. And of course, I'm going to be Captain Obvious, right? So I'm going to go back to Crazy Nights, first track, Crazy Nights.
Nice.
Yes.
And here's my question. The reason why I think I picked this one, outside of the fact that it's, again, nostalgic, it's anthematic, it just reminds me of quintessential 80s Kiss.
Right.
Is, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the song, it's, these are crazy, 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 crazy nights, right?
Right. Yes.
That's 4. Okay. Now on the track listing, it's just crazy, crazy nights.
Correct.
And the album is just Crazy Nights.
And yeah.
What's the hidden message there? That's what I want to know, fellas.
Is this Kisspiracy?
So Kisspiracy theory. So I think the night continues to get crazier as you go along, right? You buy the record, you're like, this is going to be a crazy night. Then you look at the track listing and you're like, I think it gets a little crazier because we're doubling up. And then when you listen to it, you're like, oh, we're doubling up. And now we got 4. Somebody is in for a wild ride here.
Going off the rails.
That's right.
Somebody's drinking Windex in the basement right now.
Oh boy. True story that happened at a party that I threw. We'll tell that another time. But I do have to say that was my next pick if we were going to go another round. So that's.
I mean, if Michael's got to leave us and the other boys want to go another round, if he's not offended, we could leave his at 5 and we can go more.
Michael, what do you think? Is it cool if we go another round without you?
Of course.
Awesome.
All right, then we're going 6 for
time. Enjoy the last round, fellas. I appreciate it. It's good to hang out and talk to you guys.
Nice to meet you, Michael.
Absolutely. Yeah. You too, brother.
Good to see you, Michael.
Take care.
All right, man. See you later.
We do the 90s Kiss.
Yes, 90s and beyond.
I'm still bummed Hot in the Shade wasn't in the mix for today. So
we got it next time. 89 and beyond.
All right.
Yes.
Sounds good. That's the deal.
All right. Take care, man.
Okay.
See you guys.
Later, Michael.
All right. So we got 5 more rounds. Let's go.
All right. So I'm kicking us off here.
Well, let me throw out Michael's list now that he's gone. He took He's very, and I can tell by the way he talks, he's into songwriting and he's into hits and stuff like that. Nothing wrong with that. Took I Love It Loud, Lick It Up, Heaven's on Fire, All Hell's Breaking Loose, and Crazy Nights.
Those are great picks. You can't go wrong with any of those.
Good songs.
Yeah. And then every single one of those was on my list too. So really, you can't really, Well,
let's make it official. We're down to us 4. We should be able to flow through this quickly. Can everybody do 2 more?
Okay.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
2
Mike,
more. Okay.
I'm sure Mike can do 37 more.
Well, yeah. So can me and Robbie probably.
Well, I still got a bunch here. So let's see.
And for Troy saying he had to do some research, man's on fire, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
Damn. Okay. Number 6 for me is going to be Thrills in the Night.
Oh,
that's where I'm going.
Nice.
That's where I'm going. Yeah. Again, just another just awesome, fun track. Like I feel. Go ahead, Jess.
Could be the best song on the album, like objectively.
It could be. It honestly could be. I feel like we say a lot of the same stuff when we talk about some of these tracks. We're always like, they're fun, and this guitar riff and this bass riff, but Kiss was just that good and that fun. So it's like, how do you say anything else? Like for non-Kiss fans, they're probably like, oh, of course it is. But for all the Kiss fans that listen all the way through these drafts, they're going, yeah, definitely.
Right.
And it's easily, I think, and I'm sure all you guys can agree if you're familiar with it, the best guitar stuff that Mark St. John ever did.
I think so.
Yeah.
There's actually melody to it. Like it's not just check out this insane, classical guitar run I know, which is great, which is hard to do. Yeah. I get it. I can't even come close. But to play with a little bit of feeling and still like merge some of that classical stuff into it, fantastic song. One of my favorites of all time. I love the words. Paul Stanley's painting a picture, the whole time with it. I love it.
All right, then I guess I picked a good one, and now we're going to jump back to Mike.
No, just on a segue there, another great unorthodox style performance from Eric Carr on that one. In that, like there's not a whole lot of snare drum for as poppy as the song is. Like it actually is playing a middle low tom as the backbeat through most of that track, and it just kind of. It's like Don't Stop Believing. It's like if you were to play it normally, you'd notice like something's not right. Like, it adds to it.
And actually the rhythm of the verse is odd. The way like they accent things and stuff like that. It's really cool. It's a really well-written song.
Mm-hmm.
Agree with that. Yeah. What is it me? Is it my pick again?
Yep.
Okay. We're doing 2 more? Is that right?
Your Gene Simmons impression there?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay. Okay. I'm
like Oscar the Grouch there for a second.
Kiss fan, you are. We had. So I'm going to go with let's put the X. No, I'm kidding. It'll be like, oh God, no.
What's wrong with that?
Actually, I saw someone had posted a picture of. A friend of mine, I can't remember who it was, posted a picture of them and Chris Jericho. And Chris Jericho was in white leather pants and a chainmail tank top with a black cross on and like the feather earring. And I'm like, oh man, it was from the You Make Me Rock Hard video. It's like that. It's friggin' awesome. But my next pick was going to go another kind of left field one, and one that I never hear anywhere. Spoken of or otherwise off of Crazy Nights, but it was a Gene song that, again, haunting, I always thought was really cool. And it's the song Good Girl Gone Bad.
Nice.
Kind of subdued. He's not really screaming his ass off on this one, but again, just kind of adds to it and kind of not unlike it's Thrills in the Night, kind of like paints the picture, but it just always like the mood. And Bruce Kulick, another like fantastic guitar track on that one. So yeah, Girl Gone Bad.
And he screams a little in that, and that's one of the only like 80s Gene songs I can think of where you can actually hear Paul in it as well with the "Come on!" Like,
yeah,
they really are together in that. And like we mentioned in the last episode, they lost that in the 80s. They lost their tag team.
Sure.
No, that was
dominated heavily.
I will say I didn't foreshadowed that one being picked, so that was cool.
Oh, we're to me for my second last one now. Now I'm gonna hit up. Sorry, this one.
I know what you're picking.
We're going. You think because of my run, but I'm not going the first song for once.
No, that's not what I was going to say.
Oh, you do know what I'm picking. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me preface, and then you can name the song. One guess, Mike. Who sings the song I'm about to pick?
I'm betting it's a Gene song.
No, I'm sorry. You're wrong. It is a Vinny. No, it is a Paul Stanley. What should have been a classic, which should have been a single off the album, which should have been the single off the album, which I was very happy to see that he brought back for his solo tour. And Robbie, what is it?
I had this completely wrong. You tell me.
Okay, we're going with $1 Million to One.
Yep.
I thought you were going. I thought you were going and on the eighth day.
No, God no. See what I did there? God no. But $1 Million to One, like another insane vocal performance. There's someone better than me. Like he's just another like song of like despair and heartbreak, but more like getting over and vengeful heartbreak, I guess you could say. And well written and just awesome. And I just love the dynamics of it. Chug, 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 chug. And his voice, like, I just don't understand how this was never a single, especially through the 80s, and how they never brought it back. It took him to 2006 solo tour to like put it in, and that Live to Win or One Live Kiss DVD or Paul Stanley doing it with that backing band he had. Fan-fucking-tastic. So $1 Million to One is another top 10 song for me, and I'm happy to have it on the team.
All right.
Agreed on all counts. It's like it's that middle finger love despair. Like,
yeah.
Like you're talking. Yeah, absolutely.
So I was so happy. I was going to take that last round, but I knew this was coming back, so I'm happy to get it.
Well, I think Troy is going to take us home with his final two picks, and I think the good segue, the best segue from that song to Troy's first pick, Shandy, is no.
What a great song!
Yeah, if you're an Australian.
Yeah. God fucking hell. Oh, Paul, I love you, but God damn it, man.
you leave Uncle Paul alone.
I love him with all my heart. I absolutely do, but fuck, man.
That was one of the greatest reactions to Shandy that I've ever heard. I love you, Paul, but fuck, man.
All right, I guess I'm gonna. Let's see. All right, last one of two. I'm gonna go Asylum, and I'm gonna go with fucking Tears Are Falling.
Nice.
Bitch.
Yeah. Sorry, buddy. It's just that makes me think of fucking, 1985 and fucking being however old I was at that point. I won't say
two,
but two, yeah, two, one and a half. And yeah. Went to the liquor store to get that. No,
me and Robbie weren't bored, but going on.
Yeah, that's just a song that's gonna quintessential Kiss. It's got all the elements of a hit song, and it's just a good song all around, man. Paul sounds great.
I feel if Michael would have did round 6, that would have been his pick.
Probably,
probably right.
Yep. That song was the first. You know how when you first hear a record, you always gravitate to one song, at least at first, over and over again. That was that for me. When I first heard Asylum, it was, this is the best track on this. And obviously, like the more you listen to it, you start changing your mind, and then you come back to it, and then you change your mind, and then you come back to it. But that song always stands out.
Yeah, it does, and it's just great little, dance and dance. I remember being at the fucking arcade at the mall, and that shit's fucking playing in the arcade, and it's just like, fuck yeah, man, Kiss shit.
Yeah, when you were 2.
Yeah, that's when I was 2.
Yeah,
playing Frogger sitting on the high chair.
Yeah, I was old for my age. Very mature 2-year-old.
Probably a top 3, if not a top 1 Bruce Kulick guitar solo in that song.
Yeah,
it was
dude.
Great, man. It's killer class.
Yeah.
It was classic.
Well-written solo. The way he slides into it, the way he just like pulls off the fire at the end of it. It's just such a great song. Such an underrated era from Kiss. Like as fun as we had with the 70s draft, this is like 10 times more fun for me. Like I just love it.
I don't know. I'm pretty equal. Like I the 90s and beyond, I'm still going to be the same level that I'm at right now. I just love all of this.
All right, so you're going to start off the final round.
Final
Troy.
one.
What's your final pick?
I am between a couple, man. But I think, God dang, I think I'm going to go with, and just because it's another anthemish sort of, and I'm gonna keep on with the trend of giving this album love that fucking it doesn't ever receive. The Elder again with I.
Okay.
Sure. Oh wow, we're getting Elder definitely gets more love on this podcast than anywhere else ever.
It was technically a single, right? It was a single, I believe.
It was a single,
and it's just there's a couple of things on that album that I'm not, as far as Paul's vocal wise, I didn't particularly.
Be nice to Uncle Paul.
I am, I love Paul. It's just a lot of the things on the Elder. I prefer Gene songs, but that's how I am.
That's you in general.
Yeah.
So you're saying you don't like Odyssey?
He's a Gene guy, and the rest of us, put our Pauls to the wall.
Well, I agree.
It's just I was a solid song. I thought, you know what I mean, and very positive. A tag team song.
A tag team again.
Right.
The tag team, Paul and Gene, the tag team champions, probably the last tag team of the 80s, that song.
Right.
For them.
Yeah.
And very inspirational. And
right.
The problem, I guess I don't want to say problem, but like it's so inspirational. It's getting on the point of cheesy for that song. Just like it's
exactly.
Well,
it's teetering heavily.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do that with a few of their 80s tracks, and probably more than any of us would ever admit, but there's a few 80s tracks with Kiss where you're like almost cheesy but still great.
So that means from an honest perspective that it's really fucking cheesy if we're saying that it's almost cheesy, right?
Yeah.
Right. Because we're going to sugarcoat it and be like, well, there's a lot going on internally with the band at the time. And
they're
like,
trying to figure themselves out, find themselves.
Do you like the drums and I? Because there's always something about that intro little drum fill that I don't know if I loved or liked. There's something about the snare sound that bothered me always. And I just wanted to get your take on it.
Sure. I think that, I'm guessing that's Eric Carr. I know Eric Carr didn't play on the whole record.
Right.
But I think they were just going for like the big fat sound. They're like, okay, we're going to try and, beef this up a little bit, but they hadn't gotten, it was going to be another record before they were going to get to the massive drum sound on Creatures. But Eric Carr definitely sounded like he was having fun on that one. And I think, the big standout of that is, the gigantic collaboration vocally between Paul and Gene that we didn't really see since Shout It Out Loud. Yeah. And that was a big fun one.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going with my final pick.
Yeah.
Pick.
And talk about love for an album that's surprising. But I'm going for my second track off of Unmasked.
All right.
And I'm torn between two. So it's tough. But I'm going to go with a song that's never talked about, ever. And that is Tomorrow.
No.
Got him.
He knew it. As soon as you held up Unmasked, he made a face, and I was like, uh-oh.
He's like, no.
Well, I guess I picked the right one. I just think, like, Tomorrow was a song that even me, a big Kiss fan, who listened to Unmasked, a few times in my life, just didn't even remember, and then when I bought this vinyl in 2014, I think it came out, and put it on and listened to it again. I was like, when it came out, I was like, what song is this? Like, I literally, I had to look at and be like, Tomorrow, I don't remember this song. Like, it's such a pop song, but it's really well written. And it's just I just love it. I love Tomorrow. And it's like, I wouldn't say it's a top 10 Kiss song for me, but it's probably in the top 20. And I just wanted to give it some love. Right. And the other song I would have picked off of there, I guess I'll hold off just in case Mike wants to hit it, even though he's pouting over here now. He just had a tantrum and he's pouting. And Mike, why would you have drafted Tomorrow?
What? Why would I not?
Why would have you drafted if you?
I was gonna say, that's why I was pissed. That was gonna be my take. Mainly because it has, as we were just talking about, the Paul Stanley aspect of 1,000,000 to 1 with the thumps and with the kind of middle finger, revenge. Not the album Revenge, but like that. Post breakup, kind of like heartbreak, whereas Tomorrow is the exact opposite. It's the hopeful love, and it's so positive, but still has like those the chugs to it with the cool guitar riff at the very beginning, and just it's with a fishhook sized vocal line, because you can't hear that, and it like it or hate it, you just walk away going, tomorrow we're gonna fall in love, because it's like, what's the lyrics to the chorus? Tomorrow we're gonna fall in love. That's it, done.
And then and so you know what, given like thinking about it, it sounds thin just because of it's unmasked, and that's what it is. If they took it exactly the way it was, the poppiness in all, and put it with Michael James Jackson on Creatures of the Night, I think it would be way better received. I mean, it will still have that poppy edge that doesn't necessarily fit on Creatures of the Night, but if it had that like harder guitar sound, because the guitar on Tomorrow specifically, I think I can mimic it perfectly. It's like chug, 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 chug. There's nothing behind it. There's nothing. There's no balls. There's
not much substance.
Yeah. There's just, it's not good sound distortion or anything. And to have it, to like just picture it how it could have been, or when I plug in my amp and just play the riffs, it's so much better. But as it is, though, I still love it. So Tomorrow, and you guys aren't talking much about it. Are you just not familiar as much, Robbie?
Actually, it's on my list.
Oh, is it?
I wasn't sure what I was going to go with for my last pick, so I was kind of scrolling up and down, and you made it a little easier for me, but it did make my list. And I know you said, what'd you say, it was unpopular because it was on Unmasked, but I feel like in recent years, Unmasked gets more love than it used to. Yeah. So maybe at one point in time, I'd say unpopular, but I don't think so anymore.
Well, what I mean by it is like, yeah, Unmasked is getting love, but I just feel like that's one of the songs that still isn't from Unmasked.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. All right, so I mean, we're up to Mike again for his last pick that is now gone.
That is now gone. I was like,
well, are you taking an Unmasked song, Mike, just before you make it?
If I'm going to be honest, no. Although I love Unmasked as well. There's so much, undiscovered treasure as far as I'm concerned. Like, even seeing the titles as a kid, I was like, what the hell? It's like, and then like actually listening to She's So European, I was like, this is awesome. Like, it just,
Well, the reason I asked, and then Robbie, are you going to take an Unmasked one or
no? No.
Okay, because the other one I was going to take, if I didn't, I guess Snake Mike, was Easy As It Seems. So I love how that's got that like disco-y feel, and Paul Stanley hits those really high falsettos. But I think those are I think those are two standout tracks on Unmasked, along with the one I took, Naked City. But sorry, I just want to throw that out there since no one's taken it. Easy As It Seems was close to being on my list.
Not Talk to Me? No?
No. I do like Ace's songs, but I'm just always more of a Paul guy, So
right.
Yep. So I guess then, where are you going with this, Mike?
Well, yeah, since I just got snaked again and had really high hopes for Tomorrow, and laughing because like when I was a little kid, like buying these records, it never occurred to me that two songs could have the exact same words in the title and be different songs. So I thought I looked at the record and just picturing Paul going, "The sun will come out tomorrow." Like, really? They're gonna do that one? Because Gene had already done "When You Wish Upon a Star" on his freaking solo record. I thought, God, they're doing this. What's happened? Anyway, but
I just want to segue that with in like when I was a junior in high school, I was in the drama club and we did Annie, and I was the president, and I had to sing that solo, so I had to get up there and sing it. So thanks, Mike.
I want footage, and I'm sure it was awesome. Yeah. But no, I was gonna shock you guys and go on a mountain high somewhere where only heroes dare stand the stallion and there. But I'm not gonna do
Odyssey. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, not gonna pick Odyssey, even though it's just so cheesy and like they tried to make it epic, like at the end, and it didn't quite fly. But no,
yeah, it was
I gotta be honest with myself and go with, like, you know, when the old tunes come up on shuffle, a tune that I just love and never skip because there's a few pretty unorthodox things in there for being a quote unquote straight ahead rocker. Going back to Animalize. And another Gene song, and that's the song "Lonely Is the Hunter."
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. And first, like, once I actually tried to figure out the riff on guitar, it's like, you know, if you play "Nothing Else Matters" by Metallica, the first notes you don't even need the left hand; you just do the strings, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's like if you just do like kind of standard E chord, there's not a lot of movement going on in the left hand, so it's an easy riff to figure out, but it's also, it utilizes odd times. There's a couple of moments where the riff is actually in 7, and the drums do that kind of like metric modulation trip where, you know, like the snare kind of ends up on 1 and 3 for a second before they go back to it. And it's, you would not expect that to have been on Animalize, you know, at all, especially given on was rest of the band. But and it's also, yet again, it's hooky and it's powerful and just really cool. Always loved Lonely as a Hunter. So I gotta, since I can't pick Tomorrow.
Yeah, I really think Tomorrow was such a better song.
Yeah.
Admittedly, it is. Absolutely, Tomorrow is a much better song. But just something about Lonely as a Hunter, I never skipped it.
It's all right. Nope. It's not my favorite from that album. If I'm going to be honest, Gene isn't the greatest on that album. At least you got Burn Bitch Burn, but
Burn. Yeah, I was going to say, don't forget that one.
So, but like, yeah, I really snaked you because Tomorrow is so much better. So I think I won.
Well, I mean, my next one is Burn, but no, I'm just kidding. This is my last pick. I actually am going to go with the one that Mike was joking about on his last pick, and I'm going to say Let's Put the X in Sex, because that song just gets me, man. Like the whole story about the girl breathing heavy on the phone and sending him, you know, shit in the mail and like whatever. It's a fun song. It's a very, very 80s song, and I love the riffs in it, and you can, this is where I plug my own music. If you check out my last release, Whispers in the Dark, wherever you download your music, Burning Desire is a very kind of Let's Put the X in Sex kind of song. So like you could see that I was influenced by Kiss and Poison and those 80s bands that did songs like that. And for me, it's just a fun listen. You put it on when you're just having a good time. It's not meant to be taken seriously. It's not super profound. It's just got a cool riff. It's got fun lyrics. And it was just Paul being Paul. And that's all you could ask from a song with a title like that.
And you can't forget the music video for that.
Yeah,
right. Shit, man.
right. Of course.
I remember going, what in the fuck is going on? Why is he under the table? And what the fuck is going on?
What the fuck is he doing? Oh, I love it. I love it.
Good fun song.
Yeah. I mean, I think out of the two of them, I like Rock Hard better, but talk about innuendos on both.
Kiss with innuendos? What?
No, never.
No. We're reading into it too much.
Well, since we have a long episode here and these guys might need to go, Troy, did you mark down your list?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No. Why do you ask? Why do you ask these questions?
That I don't know.
Just read them.
But now I have to like take the burden of, can I read my handwriting? So, so let's see. Troy's list is Torpedo Girl, I Still Love You, War Machine, Mr. Blackwell, Who Wants to Be Lonely, Tears Are Falling, and I. How you feeling about that, Troy?
Feeling pretty good about that, man. I should have snaked Mike because I was between I and Lonely as the Hunter on that last one.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that would have made it. Yeah, I feel like that would have made it more of the Troy list.
Right.
Mike got snaked a lot today. A lot.
Yeah.
Well, two big ones, really.
He looks distraught over there, actually. Like, we hurt him today. Then that's a good sign. That means he loves Kiss, so that just like us. All right, my championship team is Creatures of the Night, Naked City, King of the Mountain, Nowhere to Run, I've Had Enough, Into the Fire, 1,000,000-1, and Tomorrow.
Nice.
Good list. Mike's
Mike,
list.
Did you write yours or no?
I think I did. Let's see. I put my very first one was Escape from the Island. Let's see. What if I said Escape from the Island? I said I'm Alive. I said Good Girl Gone Bad, Fits Like a Glove, Rock and Roll Hell, and Lonely as a Hunter. I think that's my
and Young and Wasted.
And Young and Wasted, live version of Young and Wasted.
So go in order for what you picked. Escape from the Island, Fits Like a Glove, I'm Alive, Rock and Roll Hell, Young and Wasted, Good Girl Gone Bad, and Lonely is the Hunter.
There you go.
All right. That brings it to me. And I have A World Without Heroes, I'll Fight Hell to Hold You, All Night, Turn on the Night. Wow, I got a lot of night songs. Murder in High Heels, Thrills in the Night, and Let's Put the X in Sex.
At night.
At night.
Right.
Yes. By the way, I was debating between Let's Put the X in Sex and Thief in the Night, and I thought, well, I already have 3 night songs. Night? So yeah.
if I didn't get Naked City, Thief in the Night is my second probably favorite Gene song of the 80s.
So who snaked you the most, Chaz? Who got one that you really wanted? I think I know the answer.
I don't know. I pretty much got everything I wanted except Troy hit me with I Still Love You.
Right.
And
right.
If I would have got I Still Love You, I might have not put I've Had Enough into the fire. But other than that track, I got every single one I wanted.
All right, Troy, what about you? Did anybody really snake one that you had to have?
No, nothing. Lonely is the Hunter. I should have done. I kind of think back, but no, not really. I'm pretty solid with my picks.
Mike, do I have to ask or do we know?
No, I was pretty confident in mine. Obviously, yeah, I could do 5 to 10 more if given the chance, but yeah, a couple of them would probably be taken there too.
Yeah,
but no, I feel confident. In my standings.
And again, Michael's 5-track list was I Love It Loud, Lick It Up, Heaven's on Fire, All Hell's Breaking Loose, Crazy Nights. Just a couple of honorable mentions I wanted to throw out. We mentioned Thief in the Night, but another favorite Gene song of mine from that era is While the City Sleeps. Mm-hmm. I think that's a great song, as well as No, 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 killer guitar solo. And if I would have stayed true to my drafting, I should have probably took from Lick It Up Exciter, because that's track 1 and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Nobody wants Bang Bang You.
It's a good song too. I sit you down with my love gone, baby.
Nope, no one did.
Oh man, this was fun, but now we got to plan the next one.
Right.
90s and beyond.
90s and beyond.
Technically 89 and beyond, right?
Yes, 89 and beyond. So
I honestly have to do some research for that one too, because I gotta admit, I'm not as familiar with Sonic Boom and Monster.
I won't ruin it for you, but one of those two is really good in my opinion, and one of those two is not so good in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Not saying that one of them's horrible, but I think one of them is much better than the other.
Well, I'll be honest. To me, they're both middle of the road, but that's just my personal opinion. But we got a lot to choose from, just throwing Hot in the Shade in there too. So,
sure.
So you'd have Hot in the Shade, you'd have Revenge, you'd have Carnival of Souls, Sonic Boom, and those latter two.
Psycho Circus.
Psycho Circus. Too.
Psycho Circus. So you got 7 albums.
Yeah, that's a decent amount to go by. For that one, we might not be able to go as many rounds because of the fact that there is less, and we will have Michael back for that as well. So,
right,
that's bullshit because we've said that every episode.
Yeah, I mean, but there really is less to choose from.
It's the same amount as the 70s, 7 albums. So I think we'll be all right.
I didn't say less albums. I said less good songs.
That's not true. You're wrong. You're wrong about that, Robbie.
Robbie, don't upset him.
You're wrong.
That's true. He's got to send me the video and audio. So
yeah, Robbie's audio is going to come back. He's going to sound like Alvin.
Yeah.
Yeah. This time,
nothing wrong with that.
The ghostly voice is going to be saying, "Fuck you, man."
Yeah. Right. Go to hell. Every time I talk, it just goes. It just goes back to you guys.
He's just cut out the whole video.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for being here, man. I know we had a long one today, so
absolutely, man. Appreciate it, brother.
I plan on seeing you guys, for the U.S. tour. So we'll have to link up and see what city I'm going to pop in, and maybe I'll even
Cleveland or something, or
Cleveland, Pittsburgh, something.
Like that. Yeah, I'll be with them.
Yeah,
nice.
So we'll come.
Nice.
We'll hang, and we'll even bring the equipment, the podcast equipment, just in case a sporadic podcast breaks out where we're like, we should record this right now.
Right. You never know, man. You never can tell.
Well, what do you got to promote, Troy, before we get out of here?
That's about it. Just come see us on our run at the end of the year. It should be really killer. We're gonna be playing a lot of stuff we've never played, so it's gonna be super fun.
Like Odyssey from Kiss.
Yes, and we're playing actually. All right, I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag. We're doing music from the Elder in its entirety, and I
love it.
Just a lot of Murder Dolls stuff, so it should be really fucking fun.
Oh, that's right, the Murder Dolls tour. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's all. I'm excited for that. As much as I love Wednesday, Murder Dolls hits me in the heart because I was like teenager then, man. So that's my love.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I really like that music. So, and we've covered a lot of it over the years. So I'm just looking forward to playing a lot of the other stuff I haven't. So it should be killer.
Can you guys ask Wednesday to do some White Lion?
I mean, I can ask.
Are you guys going to convince the guitar player? Is it still Jack to learn the guitar solos?
Yes.
Sure.
That won't be easy.
Mike, do you got anything else to promote besides the Wednesday tour? What do you got?
Actually, I will be playing Morpheus in the stage production of Music from the Elder. I only have the one line, right? He's got the light in his eyes and the look of a champion.
Well, that's funny because Robbie's going to be playing the boy.
Correct.
Oh God.
Correct.
Troy can be Mr. Blackwell.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Yep.
And we'll get somebody to play the island. I guess. that they're escaping from. Yeah.
Yes.
No. Well, Wednesday. Troy already put it best. Yeah, I got the big Wednesday 13 Plays Murder Dolls tour coming up this fall, which should be 18 tons of fun. Yes. And in the meantime, if you want to see what I'm up to, check out MikeDupke.com or any of my Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter pages. So
I love it, and I appreciate you guys being here as always.
And then for me, I'm going to plug you guys know my Fantasy Football Bros Fantasy Football channel, but check out Chazz's Rock Record Review. I just recorded and released episode 20 today with lovely Jethro Tull, Song of Wood. Not the best album I've done, honestly. Couple of one Kiss one, and then the first one I ever kicked off the whole series with was Kiss Revenge. So it's 20 deep now, depending on when this gets released, 20 to 24 or whatever. And Chazz's Rock Record Review on YouTube.
Nice.
I was just checking real quick to see if I could plug some stuff for Michael touring with Steven Adler, Adler's Appetite, whatever you want to call it, but I'm having a hard time pulling it up right now. But just look for Steven Adler tour dates, and you're going to find Michael Thomas up on stage with him. I know they just recently did the M3 Festival with an amazing lineup of hair bands from Slaughter and Vixen and Lita Ford and Quiet Riot and all that stuff. So I know that just happened recently, but make sure you check them out, man. They're killer to see live and support Michael. And go back and listen to all these guys who all had interviews on the All Bets Are Off podcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
See that? I managed to just loop it all back around. You see that?
Well done. Yeah, very smooth.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I've been doing this for a little bit.
Yeah, you're just hitting 4 years right now, right?
Yes. Yeah. 4 years of the All Bets Are Off podcast. I kicked it off with Bruce Kulick.
Yep.
He was one of my first episodes. He was one of my first guests.
Like June or May of 2019, pre-pandemic, right? I remember starting that off and helped you out. So congratulations on that, Robbie. This is probably your anniversary episode.
Yeah. And check me out on all social media if you want to see me wrestle, or if you're just down to listen to my tunes.
And I am definitely, absolutely. I was serious. I'll walk you with one of them matches, man. And if I can spit some vodka and help you out in the match. All right, man.
I mean, I'm serious too. I was dead ass serious.
Bro,
serious too, man.
I've seen his last few matches. I've seen a lot of his matches, but I've been watching his last few matches. He needs some help, Troy.
I'm not fucking getting in there, but I'll sit side and
Hey, pretty soon when I'm wearing that heavyweight title, everybody's going to be like, "Oh shit, sorry, I talk shit."
Fucking A, baby.
That's right.
All right, guys. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. And we will see you guys for the 90s draft.
All right, brother.
Later, guys.
Take it easy.
Next time.
Buffalo Championship Wrestling is back in action on Sunday, June 25th, 2023 with the Backlot Brawl. The Backlot Entertainment venue is the place in Akron, New York. 4 p.m. bell time. Doors open at 2:30 p.m. The event features an appearance by current NWA and former WWE and TNA star EC3. You will also see a huge Western New York Heritage Championship match, this time last man standing, when the Calamity Delson Alexander defends against Rockstar Robbie Vegas. All this and much, much more. For more info and tickets, go to bcw-wny.com. You can also find us on all forms of social media at bcwwny. We'll see you on Sunday, June 25th at the Backlot Brawl.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.